Hey there, welcome in. How you guys doing? Hopefully things are going well with you. Let's get on with our morning reading. This could be a message for anybody watching. Hopefully it resonates with you, or even at least one part of it resonates with you, if not the whole reading. So let's see where we go, what needs to be said today. Today at noon, if you're part of the Pathfinders group, jump on the live. We do Q&A every week, which is so fun because you guys are just like amazing questions. Seriously, like, I don't know, you're driving it. So jump on. The more the merrier. All right, let's see where we go. All right. Deep breath, everybody. Deep breath. I feel like some of you have had a little bit of a woo going on, maybe with this eclipse energy. Why? To the sea. Maybe a little break is called for right now. Yeah, not for you. I almost feel like if you sit and think about your situation long enough, if you're trying to like make something work, it's probably not for you. Okay, if you've been if it's like hard work, it's always like effort, there's always problems or something like that. I feel like the universe is saying to you, this just isn't supposed to work, okay? And it doesn't mean, there's a difference between overcoming obstacles and having normal, sort of issues going on. Normal, by normal, I mean like, hey, nothing is smooth sailing 100% of the time. But if it gets to a place where it's almost like half the time that things are dramatic, like if it doesn't feel safe, if it doesn't feel like, 80% of the time you can't, 75, 80% of the time you can kind of just like navigate easily. If it's more than that, when you have to really do a lot of work, it's not for you. Okay, it's not for you. 5 of Wands, and I'm gonna say King of Cups here, Judgment, and 8 of Pentacles, Lovers, yeah, 5 of Swords. Okay, so sometimes the bottom of the deck speaks a lot louder than the top. So we'll go through that in a second. King of Swords, 5 of Cups, Knight of Swords, 4 of Swords, woof. All right, 5 of Pentacles, oh my goodness, 3 of Wands. Who am I tapping into here? Ace of Wands, 7 of Pentacles, and the 2 of Cups. Okay. The thing is that you might be holding on to something that has been a lot of hard work and effort, and it's not for nothing. I'm going to say that to you. It's not for nothing. It's not like, oh, I put in all this time and effort and what a waste of time this was. This was not a waste of time because it helps gain clarity around what is for you. And it also shows me that there may be somebody in your life who is not doing their own work. They're expecting you to do the work, all of it. Okay, all of it. So what happens is then that overloads a relationship so much that the person who's doing all the work just kind of collapses, right? Like after a while, it's like, I can't even, no more. So underneath what's happening is this person, I do feel like has a lot of good intention, does have feelings, but the point is they're not doing their work. I've got 3 5s here, 5 of Wands, 5 of Cups, 5 of Pentacles. What's missing is the 5 of Swords, and the 5 of Swords is manipulation. I don't think this person is on purpose being manipulative, but they're not taking their own responsibility for their own life. They're not, so if you're asking, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? It doesn't mean that this relationship is not important or meaningful, or even love is here. It's just that they need to own up and take responsibility for their own life. This is a codependent situation for sure. All right. So the King of Cups is showing up over here, meaning there is a lot of feelings here. This person is going through some kind of awakening, and they're attributing their awakening to out there, right? It's like the fault of everybody else but me. And they're just, 5 of Swords is here. 5 of Swords is here too. So all the 4 5s, and 5s are about change. I was going to say that the Five of Swords is missing, so that means that person's not very manipulative. But I feel like if you get in any deeper with this person, they could get to be manipulative, because what happens is when you're in that moment of like deciding whether this is going to be good for you or whatever, you're kind of trying to get clarity around this person. Then it just feels like they're drawing a blank. I'm getting this like blank screen. Like they just don't even know what you're talking about when you're saying do the work, because I feel like that's been a lifelong pattern. Okay, so let's talk about you for a second. The underneath of this, if you get in any deeper, this person likely will become manipulative, because they can't. They're used to the like the wooing phase. They're used to the getting you in phase. But once they get you in, then they got nothing. Okay, then they got nothing. They don't know how to handle it. So they're just, they go into this mode of like it's everybody else's fault. So I feel like you're running the risk, and I know you feel it, running the risk of being sad if you're too harsh with this person, that they might leave or something like that. And that's likely true. I feel like there is a possibility of some not so good feelings around this. This person is really having a very, very hard time. They could have lost a job. They could have, and so this person dives into their work, or they're workaholics when they can't handle their feelings. And if they lose a job, then where do you go from there if that's their only emotional outlet, right? If they're like, okay, so if they're like, okay, well, I guess I need to either work with my feelings, or I don't think this person would ever say it's time for me to work with my own feelings and understand my own responsibility. I don't really think they would ever say that. Okay, I don't. I think they'll come to you and ask you for help and ask you to do the heavy lifting for them. And okay, like, you guys are on this channel because you're healers and teachers and guides and shamans and mystics. So of course people are going to come to you for help. The problem is when you take on what's theirs to do, and being able to release them and say, you know what, this is your thing. This has nothing to do with me. When you do that, this person does feel abandoned by that. But they feel abandoned because they're abandoning themselves. Okay, they're abandoning themselves. So I feel like what's happening here though is kind of nice. You're giving them some options. Instead of saying, this is what you need to do to fix it, or becoming codependent and trying to fix it, I feel like you say, like, look, I know this is for you to decide. This is your situation. This is all of what's going on with you. And that's something you have to handle for yourself, right? Giving it back to them and saying, if you're asking me for my suggestions, I'm happy to give them. I think that might work. This is about you understanding your own boundaries without being kind of a hard ass. Okay, understanding you have boundaries and realizing that this person is expecting you to fix it, and when you don't, they might leave. And you know what? I'm gonna say, like, let them go. I'm clarifying the fives here, okay? Empress, that's what I'm asking myself here. Empress, Ace, Queen of Swords, Hanged Man, Nine of Swords, King of Pentacles. Okay, so this person's Hierophant in reverse. Okay, this is not about, don't try to rescue them. Don't try to, okay, so let's get to the eclipse part of this video for a second here. The eclipse that's showing up, this eclipse in Taurus, this lunar eclipse in Taurus, can bring about a lot of aha moments, especially for people who are fixed sign people, who have a ton of, because we all have everything in our chart, okay? You have all 12 zodiacs, you have all the planets, you have everything, but not everything is as strong in your chart as it is in other people's charts. Got it? So this person may have a lot of earth energy in their chart, the Taurus lunar eclipse may bring about an aha moment for them. And I feel like you're functioning as the, not the intermediary, but because they're so, they might not have any awareness of astrology or tarot or any of this kind of spiritual stuff. They might just be like, well, if something's going wrong in my life, it's their fault. It's everybody else's fault because I'm working hard, right? I'm grounding myself. I'm working hard, which is all good, but they bury themselves in it. They don't, um, they are very resistant to taking in any kind of, I'm going to say criticism, because it is kind of criticism to say, you might not be handling this all that well because you're really blaming it on other people. But I feel like then they get very emotional. Then they get manipulative. Then they get dramatic. Like, I'm going to leave. If you don't help me, I'm going to leave. They might not say that, but it might feel like that to you. And it also might feel kind of bad to you if you're being the King of Swords of like, hey, get your shit together. Okay, that may feel a little bit bad to this person. So you're going to need to work with balancing this nurturing energy and the saying the obvious, which may hurt their feelings. All right. So there's a new beginning here that can happen when you do that. When you really are like, okay, let's try to see this from a new perspective. Let's try to, deal with it. They are going to have a bit of a breakdown, Nine of Swords, when they finally realize that they've been they've been digging into their work, they've been burying their head in the sand, they've been not allowing themselves to take any responsibility. They're likely somebody who is Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, and the positive signs of Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, hardworking and grounded and stable and solid. But when the world kind of like tips that around, if they go too much into it, they can be too rigid and things can crack and break and be freaky for them. Okay, that can happen. But if they learn to, you've got all fives here, and the Hierophant is another five. That makes me feel a little bit like the change is difficult for them, but not to the point where they can't handle it. It's like they have to tap into this King of Cups more. They have to tap into their heart more, but they also have to learn how to communicate better because all fives mean you have all the suits. So swords, meaning you have to think about things differently. Pentacles, which means, don't get too grounded and rigid because things are changing. All right. So need to be more flexible. The Five of Cups is about, loss and resistance to loss even, or regrets and things that I haven't done right. So what they may do is they end up hurting themselves because they just beat themselves up. Your job here is this, to inspire them a little bit and to give them options, to show them there's hope, that it's not about, if I'm not blaming other people, that means I'm a terrible person. Because that's what happens to this person. They can't blame themselves. They can't take responsibility without being like, oh, everybody then must think I suck. Okay? So your job here is to inspire this person. I feel like there's beautiful times ahead for you. But this person is waking up to a whole new way of life. So you guys are down this road. And this is part of shining the light for other people. Don't do the work for them. That'll make you resentful, I guarantee you. If you're trying to teach somebody something, first of all, they have to want to learn it. You can't teach somebody who doesn't want to learn. So don't try. But the question to them is, I see you're in a lot of difficulty here. Would you like to know what I think? Would you like to know what I'm kind of seeing here from an outsider's perspective? Would you like that? And they could say no. And likely you'll have another go around with them at some other point because they will just disappear. But if they say yes, I think that this has a real chance. So it's up to them. The ball's in their court. All right. I'm seeing here Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. We'll totally talk about that. And this is not a drag on Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo at all. In fact, the groundedness of the positive energy of what they bring, what the earth signs bring, really connected to the earth, connected to Mother Gaia, connected to all these things naturally, in their just way of looking at the world. It's about changing perspective, and sometimes it can. And I'm not even suggesting that this is a Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo sun sign. This could be somebody who's uh, a moon sign with Earth energy, and they're leaning in a lower vibration Earth rather than a high vibration Earth, which is very abundant and stabilizing, and has amazing qualities to it. So I don't want you to think that I'm saying that about. I'm not dissing on the Earth signs. Okay, just saying. All right, we will look at Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. I do see Libra and Gemini and Aquarius. So you can, even if you're not an air sign, you could be needing to channel a little bit of air sign energy for this person. Okay, so I'll look at that. I'll look at the earth sign and air sign and see where we go. Okay. All right, link is below. Good morning. Link is below. I'll see you over there if you're part of Pathfinders. The rest of the reading starts right now.